You mentioned the zooms and the shakes. How did you feel about that?
I
Sometimes
hated it. I hated
I do
it.
too.
I still, every time I see it, I go, oh my God, that was cool for 5 minutes back in the early 90s.
Wrestlers
And
that
it
I
was,
talked to, I had one say, "I don't know why I'm taking the bump if nobody can see it," and I was like, "Ah." I had never even thought about that, but they're like, "Yeah, people can't even see what I'm doing
well,
because the camera
there's two
doesn't
different,
capture it."
okay, we may be talking about two different things.
Maybe
There's an ENG style. Do you know what I mean by ENG?
I don't.
ENG is electronic news gathering, meaning you've
Okay.
got a
Yes.
shoulder on your camera, there's a fire over there, you're filming it as you're running.
Yeah.
Okay. That ENG style of shooting and production enhances, if you're trying to, communicate a sense of chaos and urgency,
Hmm.
it works. If it's a backstage segment, it works even better because those backstage segments almost always suck because they can't bump off the concrete.
Yeah.
Can, but not really. They're usually street fights and pull aparts and brawls, which look better if the camera's not locked on the action. Because if the camera's locked on the action, you're going to see through shit you don't want anybody to see through, right?
Yes.
But if it's in that backstage environment and it's an ENG style, and oh my God, there's a burning building, let's go rush and see who's in it. I'm cool with it. But if we're backstage and you're giving me one of these handhelds, zoom in, zoom out, go around in circles, look, Sean, long while back, I took flying lessons. I got my own airplane. I decided I want to get my instrument rating. One of the things that you do when you get your pilot's license, and even more so when you get your instrument rating or trying to get it, is they put you under a hood where the only thing you can see just below your eyes are your instruments. The entire cockpit of the plane is blacked out. You have no sense of what's up, what's down, forward, backward, nothing. You're relying solely on your instruments because your brain will play tricks on you. Once you lose your equilibrium or you go into a state of vertigo, you have no idea what's up and what's down. That's how John F. Kennedy Jr. got killed. He flew upside down because he thought he was flying the right side up and ended up in the ocean.
Oh.
Watching those cameras zoom in and zoom out on backstage interviews induces the same level of vertigo that my flight instructor did when he was trying to teach me to look at nothing else but my instruments. The only difference is when I see that now, I'm not looking at my instruments, I'm looking for the remote. I hate it.
Any way you feel about it in the ring, because we see a lot of that, a lot of like when a strike is landed, when a bump is made, you get the tight zoom in and then zoom out. It's almost like every single bump they take, you see that, and it goes in and then out, and a lot of times you'll see them physically shake the camera when that happens.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I think it can be effective if it's not overused and or if it's not being used to camouflage the bump.
Yeah.
In other words, I see a lot of times, and again, this is not a criticism. This is like I worship the ground they freaking walk on kind of a comment. The WWE production team is so good. They are so good. They're almost too damn good. And their timing is so perfect, it's almost too perfect. And as a result of it being too perfect, they can easily make those quick cuts or zoom in, zoom out at the right time to perfectly camouflage something that needed to be a little enhanced. Live TV, you don't get a chance to edit, right? Back in the day when everything was taped, you could edit around that stuff, take a wide shot, take a crowd shot, whatever. But now that it's live, you can't. So I think oftentimes you see some of that because your director, your cameraman, whatever, who's calling the shots, your director's calling the shots, doesn't want to take a shot that the audience can see through. But what happens is you become overly reliant on that. And then when it starts happening so often, it actually takes the audience out of the moment.